sounds. What is going on, people? This is John from the Bad Movie Review doing a solo review. Vision's out and about, tackling, working through the jungle, the concrete jungle. He's out there doing it up, hustling hard. But yeah, he couldn't make it this week, so I decided to do a little filler. Well, I already explained in the previous one that we're doing some solo independent type of reviews and whatnot. And I'm sure when he finds time, he'll probably do some of his own. So there you go. Okay, here we go. I was about to say, you cheeky cunts. It's watching a old video from one of the Winter Olympics. I believe it was the one, actually I have no idea which one it was, but it was the one where it was the U.S. versus China and Australia was in there. And actually, let me pull it up. One of the, I forgot what his name is, but I'll pull it up. I posted it on my Facebook. Aussie Man Reviews. He did review the greatest Olympic win ever. And the way he narrates it is genius. So yeah, if you guys want to see what one of the greatest Olympic wins in the Winter Olympics was where the Australians took gold. And yeah, it was genius. And he explains a bunch of other stuff in there, talking about how it's like real life, how other people bring you down and this and this. And then it's the guy that just knows how to keep away from everybody and knows how to win. So yeah, Winter Olympics are ongoing right now. I'm not even watching any of it, but you know, I think it's kind of cool. I like the Olympics, even though it kind of financially ruins a lot of countries. You know, they spend all this money building some stadiums and stuff like that people are only going to use for that one time period. And then after that, it's just collecting dust. So with that, this week's review, I wanted to do a independent John review. The John review, we could call it. I'm still trying to figure out the name, but the John review sounds fine. The John review. Going to do a review of Thor Ragnarok, 2017's Thor Ragnarok. It came out around maybe August or October, September, October. Does it say on here? Does it say? I do not. Let's see. Yeah, it does. It was in theaters on November 3rd. So I guess it was November, but they were doing all these crazy, previews for it. So I thought it came out earlier, but no, it came out November 3rd. This is actually a pretty smart thing for Marvel to be doing. Marvel is putting out a good 2 or 3 movies every year, and they're just pumping them out, and they're actually not bad. Like, so this year they put out Thor. Black Panther just came out, and late May-ish, I believe, is going to be the Avengers Infinity War. And that, everybody wants to see that movie, by the way. That movie is being world-renowned. Like, the previews look cool. I don't know if it's the same company, but I think Deadpool will be out in May as well. So I don't know if it's studios who are competing against each other, but that's going to be another good one that everybody wants to see. So Black Panther, though, had a bunch of I guess controversy that was being put about it. You know, as far as if you type in like Black Panther controversy, like Rotten Tomatoes was saying that they're going to make sure that there's no trolls on the reviews and this and this. But I mean, it got good reviews. So I checked it out for the first week. I haven't seen it yet, but I was looking at the reviews, and it seems like it's getting really good reviews. Right now on the tomato meter, Thor Ragnarok has a 92% and an audience score of 88%. And it seems about right, which we're going to get into. Me and you guys getting into it. But, Black Panther has like a 95% or something. I'm sure it'll probably go down a little bit, but that's the thing. These Marvel movies are coming out, and they're good. They're decent. They're watchable. And they're not like terrible. I remember when Marvel first started making movies, like the first Captain America that ever came out, it was an okay movie. It was an okay-ish. And when it came out, the marketing wasn't as big. You can kind of tell, like, even Chris Evans, the guy that plays Captain America, he was like a really unknown actor at the time. Like, he was in some decent movies, but he wasn't like a household name. Now the guy's crushing it. The same thing with I mean, I guess you could say it even goes all the way back to Iron Man, the very first Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. He had just come out of like some drug rehab stuff, and he was sorting himself out as Jordan B. Peterson would say, and he definitely figured it out. And now he's Tony Stark. Like people can't get enough. I love him as Tony Stark. He's awesome. And by the way, the first Iron Man was amazing. Like one of my favorite movies. Much better than the second and third one. And the second one was just abysmal. It was just horrible. The third one was people liked it, but I thought it had some flaws in it. Wasn't really a fan, but it was definitely better than the second one. And Shane Black directed it. Shane Black is the man. Which reminds me, we have to do a review of the other guys. It's a Shane Black movie that came out in 2016, I believe, and it got like no props. People just dissed it. It made no money, but it was the best movie of that year. I don't think it won any awards either. So let's get back to Thor Ragnarok, the movie that we're all here for. This movie is the third, I think it's the third one of all the Thors. I never saw the second one. I thought it didn't look interesting. It was definitely more interesting looking than the first one, though. The first Thor is, oh my gosh, it's a train wreck. Not a good movie. I tried to watch it, and even the previews looked horrible. But I think I watched like the first 5 minutes and stopped watching it. But it is what it is. It needed to get off the ground. But the second one, I guess it was a little bit better. People liked it better. They're still making them, I guess. And this one, though, this one's interesting. Let's go over the plot summary line. All right, let me just move the mic over here so I can see the screen a little bit better. Okay, summary is Thor is imprisoned on the other side of the universe and finds himself in a race against time to get back to Asgard to stop Ragnarok, the destruction of his homeland and the end of Asgardian civilization at the hands of an all-powerful new threat, the ruthless Hela. What was this one? Let's see, that was the IMDb summary. Let's see the Rotten Tomatoes one. Let's see. All right. In Marvel Studios, Thor Ragnarok. Thor is in prison on the other side of the universe without... Oh, this is a little bit different. On the other side of the universe without his mighty hammer and finds himself in a race against time to get back to Asgard to stop Ragnarok, the destruction of his homeworld and the end of Asgardian civilization. I guess Ragnarok means like the destruction of Asgardian civilization. I guess it's a term. It's like, oh no, it's Ragnarok. It's going to happen at the hands of an all-powerful new threat, the ruthless Hela. And Hela is his sister, his like first, I think his true blood sister or something like that. But first he must survive a deadly gladiatorial contest that pits him against his former ally, fellow Avenger, the Incredible Hulk. Okay, this gives a little bit more information about it. So let us see the cast. It is starring. Where are the cast members? Oh, here we go. We have Chris Hemsworth. He has a brother too, by the way, and they're both pretty good actors. But this is Chris Hemsworth as Thor. Then we have Tom Hiddleston as Loki, the good old Tom Hiddleston. Tom Hiddleston has really proven himself to be a really fantastic actor. I didn't really care for him as much as Loki, but not that I didn't care for him in general, but when he came out as Loki in the Avengers, that put him on the map. Like that really solidified his career. At first I was like, Loki, whatever. But yeah, he's actually a really good actor. Then you got Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner Hulk. Kate Blanchett is Hela. And Anthony Hopkins is Odin. And then Benedict Cumberbatch is Dr. Stephen Strange. He has like a good 5-minute scene in the movie. And I don't even know how he's in the movie. It's really short and it doesn't really add to it, in my opinion. I guess they needed him, or I guess he was in there to help them get back or something, or some time travel thing. But I felt that his scene or whatever, his scenes were just like not really necessary. It was cool to see him, but I don't know. I think it was wasted. They should have added a little bit better, per se. I almost forgot. It is directed by Taika Waititi. This guy must be Hawaiian or something. And written by Eric Pearson. What did Eric Pearson do? I've been really getting into writers lately. He wrote Marvel's Agent Carter. That's it. That's all he's done. He's only done Thor Ragnarok and Marvel's Agent Carter, which I don't know what Agent Carter is. All right, so the box office. Thor. Hold on, let me see. How do we do it before? How do we do it again? We do, how much do we think it made? Oh, well, I already saw how much it made. So it made a box office of over $300 million. It was $312,459,726. Wow. Wow. $300 million movie. I bet you it cost less than $90 million to make it. Let me see how much was the budget? I'll guess what the budget was since I don't see it right here. I think it was a budget of $90 million or so. I mean, even a movie, even if you spent like $60 million, that's like a deal. If it made over $300 million. So Ragnarok budget. Let us see. I mean, this is just like, okay, it was $180 million budget. Okay. So they kind of made, they kind of made them, I mean, they obviously made the money back, but they kind of doubled their profits almost. Maybe not. I'm sure this box office right here is probably worldwide as well. So they probably added it all up. I'm not going to check because I don't really want to check. All right, fine. I'll click on it. Where's it at? Box Office Mojo. Where you at? Let's see if it shows. Okay, domestic it made $314 million. Oh. Worldwide it made $853 million. Good Lord. Almost $1 billion in this movie. This is the third one. All right, now we have to see how much the second one made. I think it was Thor: The Dark World or something. Let me see, Thor 2. Thor 2. Maybe if we click, no, never mind. Thor. Okay, yeah, it's Thor: The Dark World. The Dark World. It's Thor. Thor: The Dark World. Let's see how much this bad one made. Box Office Mojo. I'm sure it had to have done much better than the first one. Now we're obviously going to see how much the first one made too. Ooh, wow. Domestic it made $206 million, and worldwide it made $600 million. I mean, they're getting better at making these movies then, because I bet you the first one made even less. But I mean, that's still pretty good. What was the budget? Hold on, I'll find out. The budget was. Where's the budget at? I wonder if Box Office Mojo shows. It has to have shown like the budget. It can't just be like it should be all on one page. Daily? What is this? Ooh. Oh wow, they show the weekend, how much it made daily, foreign summary. What's the budget? The Dark World. I mean, Stan Lee right now is like almost 100 years. I think he's over 100 years old, and he executive directed. The guy's like a trillionaire. These are all Stan Lee's characters, and he makes. Talk about making money while you're sleeping. This guy makes. I wonder why they haven't compared him to Bill Gates. But I guess Bill Gates must make more money per se in terms of like capital, and this guy only make money when these movies come out. I don't know though the actual. All right, fine. I'll just type it in. Thor 2 budgets. It was no way. No way. Oh, okay, so Disney spent $236 million on Thor: The Dark World, but $37 million of this was offset by payments from the UK tax authority. So this movie might have lost money. Jesus, they spent that much money on this on the second one? This is insane. It's crazy. Huh. I guess, hey, whatever, though. I guess they were able to Well, I mean, look at that. It's still offset. They still made a profit though, because the with the domestic and foreign, it was over $600 million. Good lord. All right, Thor budget. The first Thor. Let's go to the first damn Thor because I did not like the first one. Oh my god. I don't know, Thor 1. Here we go. I was about to say. The budget for Thor 1. All right, let's. It says it was 150 million. You gotta be kidding me, man. It was 153 million. Box office, it made $400 million. Let's see if that was just domestic. Box Office Mojo. What do you think? Oh, cool. Franchise. Oh, there's a link where you can click on franchises, which is way easier. I've been doing it separate. So Box Office Mojo has something where it has them all lined up. Genius. Oh wow, adjusting for ticket inflation as well. So yeah, obviously the first Thor only made 181 million. Okay, so worldwide it made 400 million. Yeah. So this is crazy. The second one made 600 million, or almost 600, almost 650 million. Then the third one literally, all right, it didn't double that, but it made almost 900 million. It was 850 million, 853 million. That's insane. Like, you can just tell the household name. I mean, the movies, and that's the thing, Thor's not that bad. All right, so let's get back to the movie. The characters were okay. Chris Hemsworth is fantastic Thor. He's definitely settled in nicely. Obviously, and Tom Hiddleston as Loki is the man. And a lot of people like Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner. I think he's okay. I didn't mind him. I don't mind him at all. He's a good actor. I didn't mind what's his name either though. I thought what's his name? The guy from Fight Club. Trying to blank. Edward Norton. I thought his version of the Hulk was a little more complex, but we already know that he's never going to come back as the Hulk. And Mark Ruffalo is the man. He's the one. He's the one. Kate Blanchett. She wasn't bad. I mean, what are you going to say? This is the thing. I'm gonna go on a little rant here about how these actresses always play the evil, wicked. I mean, she just basically played like some character from like a Disney movie. Like it always comes down to when there's like an evil villainess that's a female, whatever. It always comes down to dressing them up like she looked like what's her name? What's that one movie with Angelina Jolie, Enchanted or something? The same type of. She was dressed the same. She's like, I am evil, and oh my gosh, I'm a wicked witch. It's like, good lord, just enough. But I mean, she did okay as a villain, I guess. Didn't ruin the movie or anything. Then we have almost forgot. Let me go to the rest of the cast. We've got Jeff Goldblum was in this movie. Everybody loves Jeff Goldblum. He's a good actor, and a lot of people say that I look like Jeff Goldblum, so I take that as a nice compliment. Always Jeff Goldblum. You had Idris Elba. He's famous for The Wire. That's how I always remember him. He was awesome in that show. He was also amazing in. You guys need to check out not Lock, Stock. It was in what the fuck is the movie called? Oh shit! It's a Guy Ritchie movie. Oh my god, what was it called? Actually, let me just click on his name. It came out a couple years ago. It's also my favorite movie with Gerald Butler as well. Oh my god, it's what is it? It's Rock and Roller. There you go, Rock and Roller. Speaking of which, Rock and Roller only has a 59% on Rotten Tomatoes. What is going on? I thought it was a great movie. What the hell? It was a good movie. What the fuck, Rotten Tomatoes? Yeah, there you go. Audience score is 71%. It was a decent movie. I like Guy Ritchie movies. Honestly, the one that Guy Ritchie just made, Excalibur or some shit. or King Arthur. It was really bad. I felt bad for him because he's a really good director, but and he spent like 3 years on that movie. By the way, he was on the Rogan podcast and he talked about it. But it was a really bad movie. Yeah, so that's Idris Elba, and he had a really small role in this Thor movie. Nice paycheck for him, I guess. Then we had Tessa Thompson as Valkyrie. What else has she done? Oh, she was in Creed 2. She is in Annihilation. Oh, Creed. Oh, these movies haven't come out. She was in Creed, though. She was in Thor, and what else was she in? Some movies that I've never heard of. And I thought that she was, I wasn't really impressed. And she kind of looked a little chubby in her suit, so I couldn't help but try to call her like she was like. I mean, it was probably like a battle. The craft services of this movie must have been so delicious that she couldn't stop eating or something. She definitely looked a little chubby. And if anybody wants to hate on that and like you're fat shaming, it's like whatever, get over yourselves. I mean, she looks chubby. I'm just saying. Like, but speaking of which, though, I mean, she did look healthy chubby, though. I'm not gonna say it was like gross chubby. I was watching Only the Brave. It's the guy who did Tron, the new Tron, and it's got Josh Brolin and some other dude. The dude from what's that movie called? Oh, I forgot. But yeah, Only the Brave. And Jennifer Connelly's in this movie. And dude, she's a good actress, dude. I liked her in Working for a Dream. I thought she was like super hot back then. Now she's obviously older, but dude, in this movie, there's like some shots of her where you can just tell that she's literally bone. It's like skin and bone. It's gross. I'm like, dude, there's like no ass. It's just all just like I'm like on camera that you look a little bit. You look like you gained some weight on camera. You look a little bit chubbier than you normally are. So the fact that she looks like an anorexic skeleton in that movie, it's frightening what she would probably look like in real life. So, all right, Tessa, I'm not gonna hate on you too much. I mean, I'm sure you're probably skinnier in real life, but yeah, I mean, the suit made you look a little chubby though. But I guess maybe that was the point because she's in the whole movie she's just drinking the whole time. She's like a drunk and she drinks a lot and she basically just acts like a man, like a sailor drinking. She's a Valkyrie or whatever. All right. Then you had Carl Urban as Scourge. Carl Urban. And he plays, he's good at playing these types of characters. He plays like the lackey who's like never gets his respect and stuff like that. He plays this kind of character in all of the all the Vin Diesel, what do they call those movies? Riddick, all the Riddick movies. If you watch the Chronicles of Riddick and all that stuff, like the one where he's like he goes to some kingdom or whatever. Like that's Carl Urban's in that movie as well. Then we had the director Taika Waititi. I can't even say this. Jesus. Yeah. So Taika Waititi. He was in. It's nice to see that he's a director. Actually, he's known for. He was in that movie, What We Do in the Shadows. He was one of the, I think he directed that movie too. Wow, nice. He directed What We Do in the Shadows, and he was Viago, one of the vampires in that movie. And I tried to watch that movie. It wasn't that funny. I wasn't too impressed, but it made a lot of good press. People liked it. And it's not a terrible movie, but it wasn't for me. I just wasn't digging it. It wasn't funny. My type of comedy is just not that style. But I still like movies like it's very much like a Spinal Tap. This is Spinal Tap or whatever. And I thought that movie was funny. I thought Spinal Tap is good, but it's not as good as Spinal Tap or what's that other one? Best in Show. But it's that type of comedy. So he plays Korg, a rock, like a character in the movie, and a character that's like a rock character. It's made out of rocks. What's funny, the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because I thought before I looked it up, I thought it was the guy from District 9, Lukin, because he kind of has the same voice. But I guess animated wise, they probably have to compete against each other for the same voice. All right, so now that we have the cast, what did I think about this movie? I thought this movie's all over the place, by the way, in a good way. It's it's one of those movies that you can tell from the very beginning, like the first 5 minutes, it doesn't take itself serious, and that really helps it. Um, there was some critics that stated that, and we'll get to the critics in a second, but some critics were like, "Dude, this movie's too comical. It might have ruined it." But a lot of the critics actually appreciate it. Another thing I liked about this movie, yeah, we'll do the likes first. What I liked about it was it's very retro, and they played off of that really nicely, like the synthesizing type music, like the very like 80s ish, like and the colors and the way that the movie's like shot. They played it up pretty nicely, and it's a very retro-ish type of movie. Like what would you say? Like it's like a very rainbowish, but it's cool. If you look at the poster, they stuck to it really nicely. Even the trailer's nice. The trailer, if you watch the trailer, you get hype. You get really hyped. It's just really good graphics. Uh, and the script isn't bad at all. Like it flows really well. I think the movie's like 2 hours and something long. It's like almost 2.5 hours or something. And you're into it, man. You watch the whole thing, like you're sucked into it. There was a couple times where I was like looking at my phone, but other than that, it wasn't too bad. It was definitely very very connected per se. So, and there's a lot of good memorable scenes where you're just like, that was cool, awesome, nice, and you're rooting for him, just like, yeah, get him, Thor. So, in the end, like as an overall movie, it's a good watchable fun flick. You can watch it with your friends, you can watch it with your family. I watched it by myself and I still felt that it was dope. So well done, Marvel. I mean, they were able to make a movie that was pretty well done. What I didn't like about it, there were some scenes where they just didn't make sense. There's a lot of these, like, I guess, it just wasn't connected in terms of the plot. Little things though, little things. Like there's this thing that Thor, uh, this chick, the Valkyrie, she controls Thor, and she puts like this. It's like a zapper, and she sticks it on his neck, and then she can control it and press the button, and he gets zapped, and he can't move, and he's paralyzed basically. And there's a scene where he puts it on Loki. Almost like one of those sleight of hand things, or he bumps into somebody, and then either you take their wallet or you apply this thing. But this thing, like, it goes into your skin. You can't rip it out. And you would think that Loki would feel that when it was on him. And there's a scene where like Loki doesn't know, and then he does it to him, and he's just like, ugh. And I mean, it was comical and it was funny, but part of me is like, dude, like, Loki, are you that stupid? Like, how did you not feel that? So that was kind of a downer. There were some other moments too where I think there was a lot of scenes with the Hulk where I was just like, doesn't really work. But it was still cool to see the Hulk when he first came out, though. That was awesome. That first scene that they had where they fight, it was dope. It was pretty cool. I think that's about it. I mean, it's just like little nitpicks like that where it kind of took away from the story. Um, oh, that's right. At the ending too, towards the end, where there's a scene where, like, they're trying to rescue the people and all this stuff, and I guess the civilians are trying to escape on this ship because the world, basically his world gets destroyed or something. Um, and they're basically on this ship, and they're basically just stranded down and just flying around the galaxies. But there was something that I found really cheesy about that, and I don't really remember what it was. Was it? I mean, obviously, it's just it's a comic book movie. Everything's gonna wrap up together nice and neat, and it's gonna flow well. But I mean, there's a lot of these moments like that where I just don't remember them right now, but I should have wrote them down. But that's how it is. That's how podcast is. All right. Okay. But yeah, it's just terrible how some movies can't be that flawless. Like I still consider Civil War to be one of the best Marvel movies, Captain America: Civil War, to be one of the top ones. Like I think every Marvel movie is basically being compared to that movie because the way that they had so many characters at once, the way that the script flowed, and there was not one dull moment. And it's like a 2.5 hour movie, almost like a 3 hour movie, and it's just a solid movie. So that's what I'm kind of comparing Thor to. And even though Thor was a really fun movie, like the plot lines and the plot scenes, like the way that things would just happen, and obviously for time they had to edit it down. I'm sure this movie could have been like a 5 hour movie. and they already brought it down to like a 2.5 hour movie. So whatever. I get it. I get it. It couldn't be like you couldn't explain everything. But let's see what some of the reviews said. A lot of the reviews loved it. Let me try to find one that didn't. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, and since we're doing an independent recording, I'm going to go into the IMDb reviews. Let's go to top critics. Tessa's got the comedic timing to match Taika Waititi's Thor humor and the physicality to lead the movie's pack of superheroes. She's not trying to outdo the boys. She's just trying to sip her drink and mind her own business. Really? I didn't feel that at all. I mean, she didn't, it's not like she stole the show or anything. I felt that she was kind of okay in the movie, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, like this guy's freaking, who was it? Hunter Harris? Jesus, somebody's a fanboy. Let me see here. We got Christopher Orr of The Atlantic. Perfectly acceptable as an action movie, but inspired as a comedy, which is probably where the Thor franchise should have been aiming from the start. So this guy's saying it should have been a comedy from the beginning. Maybe that's true. A lot of comic book, it's a comic book anyway. But I mean, they definitely did a pretty good thing. I think they're going to be exploring different ways to keep this sort of comedic angle going, all the while keeping it very, action oriented. Let's see here. We got Bob Mondello from NPR. Oh, Bob. Kate Blanchett's Hela is hella mean, hella snarky, hella striking with her hair slicked back into antlers. Okay, so this guy is all about the Hela, the Hela. Let's see what Adam Graham of the Detroit News. This is actually, he gave it actually a splat. So Ragnarok is supposed to play for last, but it feels like a joke. It feels like the joke is on the audience. Ooh, let's see what he said. Let me click on that. Good old Bob. Let's see why. Maybe it's Batman and Robin. Or maybe a little of both. Dude, comparing any movie to Batman and Robin? How dare you? Hey, it worked for Deadpool, right? On one hand, it's refreshing that the filmmakers have loosened up and decided not to take themselves so seriously. Okay, yeah, I'll give them that. On the other hand, they do so with detached, self-referential dialogue that comments on itself as it's commenting on itself. Creating a wormhole of meta-irony that sucks the movie into a black hole of nudging. Okay, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Yeah, there were some scenes where there was just like a little bit too slapstick. I get that. And they should definitely probably pull back on that. Let's see. New Zealand. Oh, this guy's from New Zealand. Directed by New Zealand comedy Helmer Taki Watiti. I can't say this guy's name. Establishes his tone as the opening scene when Thor suiting up to Northgard, trapped inside, suspended cage, open to the audience. Oh no, it's not Thor. Okay, yeah, whatever. All right, I see. I mean, the guy liked the movie, but I guess he just said that it's not, the comedy angle is just not as good as it should be. So that was the only splat that. Oh, there's another one here. Director Taki Wiki. This is Matthew Licona from San Diego Reader. Director Taki Waititi his take on the God of Thunder plays a bit like a rock mockumentary. This is Spinal Tap. It's front-loaded with jokes, but built around a severe humbling and full of silly bombast. So what the heck? You're basically giving it a splat, but you still didn't mind it. Let's see. Let me go for a positive one here. Mick LaSalle from San Francisco Chronicle says it has confidence in its characters and in its own invention, and so it avoids repetition and stays fresh. Okay, I see that too. I mean, that's why I think a lot of reasons why this movie did a lot better was because it was more comical, and I guess a lot more people, are into that. As far as like, let me bring the kids. It's all about the kids, dude. You get more kids in the seats. They have to bring their parents, and a lot more. The younger you are, you usually bring like 8 friends. You want to have more friends as opposed to like some loner. I'm 27. Let me go watch this movie. I'm not gonna bring anybody. I'll go by myself and watch this movie. What are we saying? So let me go into IMDb. I know Vision doesn't do this, but You could just call me I'm a man of the people. I'm a man of the people. I care about what the people think. I care about what the I guess with the peasants. The peasants. All right, let's go to the user reviews. Okay, so on IMDb, there's over 800 user reviews. Let us go to. I'm gonna put it by helpfulness. Actually, let me see here. Let's do. Let's do it by helpfulness. Is fine. Uh, let's see. One is an 8 out of 10. This is Thor. This Thor is Thorsome, like us, like awesome. Oh, here we go. Here's a 1 out of 10. Weakest MCU movie so far. All right. A little goofiness is okay, but Thor has too much of it. Was expecting an epic, action-filled, dramatic Thor film. Ah, okay. Yeah, you can't go. I mean, dude, the trailer did not make it sound like it was going to be epically dramatic. If you watch the trailer, you're going to get an idea of like it might be fun or it might be funner compared to like a darker type of movie. Uh, it's funny. You could actually say that Civil War was actually darker than this movie. Even though Civil War did have some sort of it did have some comedic value to it. It had some comedic stuff, but they definitely knew how to tone it down. It wasn't as crazy as this one, and it ain't that funny. Also, not like Guardians or even Ant-Man. Those are funny and well made. I still haven't seen Ant-Man. I don't think I want to watch it. This one is a train wreck. The weakest movie. Okay, here we go. Thor Ragnarok. This guy didn't even say anything. Or did he? No. He just says, oh, okay. Was this movie a crappy comedy? Why so many people liked it so much? Things that bother me. Ragnarok is supposed to mean the end of the world, but no one took it seriously. Okay. I like where he's at right here. Hela is about to conquer the world and kill everybody. Let's make a little joke. A fight started. Oh, please, another little joke. Thor steps on a banana and falls down. Ah ha ha. Loki, zero power in all the movies, zero spells, zero abilities, just nothing. Where was all his power? That's true. Wow, okay, I like where this guy's going. He was so useless. He was so useless and did almost nothing in the movie. Hulk personality of a teenager on steroids, teenage boy on steroids. Very true. Thor is so funny. Oh my god, joke after joke. This Thor is he Thor or the kid of Deadpool? Okay, there you go. I had so high expectations, but this movie targeted only kids with all the right funny jokes. Ooh, that's pretty brutal. And this is the thing too. Like everybody who made the movie will probably they would read a review like this and they'd be like, "Oh yeah," and they just point to the amount of money that it made and they'd be like, "What do you think now? I don't give a shit. I don't care what you think." And that's sadly this is what it always boils down to. I mean, this is why we have superhero movies being made on every there's like 5 or 6 movies coming out of superheroes now, and it's getting a little old. It's getting a little sad to say we're going to be living in this decade of like where remember that time where it was like a superhero movie every 5 years. I mean, we're living in it now. That's why I wouldn't really notice it, but in film schools all around the world, if school even exists by then, they're going to be like just discussing this type of baloney. This was the era of the superhero. It all started back in 1989 with Batman. Or, Superman was obviously in the early 80s, but I mean, there were no franchises like it is today. This franchise shit is getting out of control. This year coming out, what we're going to have okay, so we got Deadpool coming up. We got the new Venom movie that's going to be coming out. I think it'll probably come out like later, 2018, probably like October. I haven't even checked. You got the new Marvel and the Avengers coming out. So I mean, we're not even we're like 2 months into 2018 and the first half is already like 4 or 5 Marvel movies. I mean, Black Panther just came out. What other superhero movies just came out? Something's coming out, but there's like 5 or 6 movies coming out. It's like, and it's what's really funny too is that like most people aren't even reading comics anymore. And if you guys have seen what's been happening in the comic book world, I don't know if they changed it yet because I haven't really checked, but like Thor is literally a female now. It's a woman. Spider-Man 2 is Spider-Man as well. And apparently that's been ruining their like people stopped reading them or something like that because they changed everything. But I mean, these guys are making some decent money in the movies, so I don't know if it's ruining their their profits that much. But then again, like these movies are from the old school comics. It's not like like, oh, we've changed Spider-Man into a woman. I think a lot of people have a problem with that was on the screen though, just because like it doesn't really pay homage. It's not even like the real Spider-Man. Uh, so yeah, that was the IMDb, just regular good old Joe Schmo reviews. Or these people have stars next to their names, but I don't know if they're actually professional writers or whatever. Let me read one more. Look at this, another 1 out of 10. Murder of Thor character. If the movie can't be serious about an apocalypse and just goofs around in nearly every scene, then it's certainly the murder of Thor as we've seen in comics. Oh, I see that. One cannot emotionally connect to absolutely nothing. Death of Odin or Thor losing an eye or destruction of... Uh, that's true, dude. I totally forgot that Thor loses an eye in this movie. He lost an eye and everything's like, it's not even a big deal. Like he has an eye patch now. And the way the whole movie plays it out is just like basic. Like even he gets his hair cut in this movie. He used to have long hair. Gets his hammer, dude. His hammer gets like destroyed. He has no hammer anymore, and that's like by the end of the movie, like it's not coming back. And yeah, the destruction of the world and all that stuff. It was really comical. So I'm gonna have to go with this one. I'm gonna have to go with what these reviews are saying. So let's wrap up here. Do I think this movie deserves the rating that it got? After reading some of these reviews, I'm gonna have to say no. I'm gonna have to say that like it doesn't deserve such a high rating. I mean, the acting was great, the storyline was decent, but the way they did the comedy and just slapstick the whole damn movie, I get why they did that, but it could have been a much better movie in that aspect. But it made money. People had a good time though. The people, I kind of enjoyed it. There were some scenes where I was like rooting for them. I was like, yeah, it's awesome, all right. And they kept playing the Black Sabbath song. And like it's I guess because that song is about like about Hala and all that stuff. Yeah, it really went well with the movie though. But I guess so. I guess for people who are really big Thor fans of Thor, this movie is not going to appeal to you. Like this is the thing. I don't really care about Thor. Like I would never read his comics. To me, he was a boring comic book character. So seeing him in like a movie, it's a little more entertaining to me. But I get what these guys are saying. Like if they made a movie about the Punisher and they made him all funny and slapsticky, I would be pissed. I'd be like, this is bullshit. Dude, if you read a comic book, read the Punisher comics. Like they have the new ones, Punisher Max. They have ones. I think Vertigo makes them, but there's like graphic novel Punisher comics, and it is dark and it is bloody. And to make the Punisher come in and just be like, I don't even use guns. Yeah, I'd probably be really pissed too. And that's the thing. Even the new Netflix Punisher series that came out, season 1 on Netflix, I was super disappointed. Like they made Micro's character look like a freaking just a patsy. They made him married in the like he's married, he has kids in this series. It's just like, dude, that's not Micro. Micro is the same version as Frank Castle, except he's more of a hacker and he stays inside and he's more computer versed. But him and Frank, they had the same mindset to like kill everybody and no one survives and we're gonna get retribution. And they're using it to fight crime. They're using all their energy to fight crime. But there's no like, oh my gosh, my wife, I love her still. I don't know why they did that. I have no idea why they changed up the storyline like that, but it is what it is. Somebody wrote the script and then they greenlit it, and I hope they never do that again. But yeah, it is what it is. They're going to make another season. It's already more successful than all the other Netflix comic whatever series. I still think that Daredevil is probably the best one they've done, but that one even kind of went a little south. So that was the review of Thor Ragnarok. Let me know what you guys think. Just reply in the comments. If you thought that Thor was really good, or do you think that what some of the reviews that I read said, if you think some of those reviews you agree with or not, like, share, subscribe. It's funny. I think people just say that just because it's like, you know, it's what you should say. It's almost like have a good night. You know, it's like it's something like that. But yeah, you know, I guess you don't have to subscribe if you don't want to, but you know, let me know what you thought. Get a little conversation going in the comment section if anything, and that should be it. We'll be back. We should be back next week. If everything's all said and done, yeah, we should be back by next week, and we're reviewing Django. 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 We're reviewing Django. So we'll see you guys on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your week. And I'll talk to you guys later. All right. Peace.